I really love Google Fonts. So many free and good looking fonts, and it's easy to use with the embed code. There's one problem, the embed code. If you want to stay GDPR compliant like me, because I'm from Europe, you can't use the embed code. Self-hosting is your only option. In this video, I show you how to self-host Google Fonts. Plus, I teach you how to convert local files so you can self-host any font you want. So let's head over to fonts.google.com. We now have to choose a font, and there are so many fonts. So let's go with Poppins. It's really friendly looking. I like it. We get the font, and we got two options: get embed code and download. When we go to embed code, you can see the problem is here. It makes an HTTP request to Google servers, allowing them to collect IP addresses, and since that's considered personal data, it's not GDPR compliant. Beyond privacy concerns, self-hosting gives you full control over how you cache your fonts, the way you implement them, and removes dependencies on a third party. Not that it happens often, but if Google servers are down, your fonts do not work. So to self-host, we go back and click on download. When I open the zip file, I got a folder, and inside that folder, as you can see, there are TTF files, which are kinda useless for web, because you want a WAV2 file. There are web font generators to convert them, but it takes some extra time, and for some reason, it always feels like there's a quality loss when converting files. Luckily, I found a much better way. This great website, named the Google Web Fonts Helper, makes self-hosting easy. You find the link in the description. You just search the Google font you want, so let's stick with Poppins. You can select the style, so I want to have regular and italic, which is the same as 400. And then I would like to have 700 and 700 italic. For modern support, you only need WAV2 files, but you can have legacy support, so you got the TTF file which we downloaded before. And if you want, you can have historic support if you need that. So modern support is fine for me. I prefer to change the prefix. Then I copy the CSS and I download the font files. Before I open the zip file with the WAV files, I copy this CSS file to my project. So I got a fonts.css file. I add the CSS code. Now I go back. I open the folder. I unzip it. I take the WAV2 files. Now I go back again to my project. I created a folder named fonts, and I paste the fonts here. Now I got everything to make these fonts working. We head over now to the index.css file. And as you can see, I didn't set a font family on the body. This is also why this is showing the default browser font. So when I set the font family, and let's make things easier, I go back to fonts.css file and I copy the font family here. I paste it so I can't misspell Poppins, and when I save it, wow, it really looks good. Nice. A good thing to do is to set a fallback font. So let's say Poppins ain't working, like this. The difference between the default font and Poppins is pretty big. So when we set a fallback font, for example sans serif, this already looks better, and let's say Poppins is working. You see the difference between the fallback font and Poppins ain't that big, so that looks much better. Okay, and this is it. This is how you self-host Google Fonts in a GDPR compliant way. As I mentioned before, I will also show you how to host any font locally. So let's go to a site called The Font. And we are also going for a sans serif type of font. And lemon milk looks good, alright. And let's download it. Before we are going to use this font, A word of caution, always check the terms and conditions to see if you're allowed to use them or if you have to buy it, especially if you're going to use a font commercially in a project. Most of the times if you check the detail page, there's something written about the licensing. So let's go to the font file we downloaded, unzip it, and as you can see we got an OTF file, which is great if you want to use the font locally on your computer when you design in apps like Sketch and Figma, but like TTF it's kind of useless for website use. So let's convert the font to WOF2. To do that, I really like the web font generator website by FontSquirrel, but there are many more. You can find the link in the description. So we start by uploading the OTF file. So let's select the bold, and optional is fine, but if you go for expert, you can say I don't need the WOF file, and you can set some other advanced settings. But let's keep it simple for now. So we go for optimal, and as I warned before, you have to declare that you are allowed to use this font as web font. So now we are going to download the kit. This will take a second because it will convert this OTF file to a WOF file. It's downloaded. Now we go to the zip file, unzip it, and take out the WOF2 file. We copy this WOF2 file to our project. So I go to the fonts folder. It's added, great. Now I go to fonts.css, and I'm lazy, so I copy the font face. I change the font family name in lemon milk. Font style is not italic. Font weight 700 is correct because it's bold. And now I have to change the URL, so lemon milk, great. Now I go to the index, and let's say I want to change the H1 font family. So I copy this. Now I change the name to lemon milk, and voila. The font that we converted from an OTF file is working. This font doesn't really look great with lowercase letters, so let's fix that by adding text transform uppercase. That's a lot better. From now on, we can self-host any font we want. I really hope this video helped you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I see you in the next one.